you forgot about?
Oh, I know. Oh, I found, I was like cleaning my fridge ever so, I was more adjusting it. And I found basically a whole 6-pack of Hot Valley that
nice.
I like tucked away in the back of like, cause I didn't have any shelf space.
A little cryo stash stashed away, if you will.
Stashed. And I was like, yes, I get a free 6-pack.
Oh, hashtag first world problems. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 191, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form on the replay over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, and usually some Star Trek.
Yeah.
We do drink alcohol on this show, and if you are drinking along with us, feel free to drop what you're drinking in the chat, and we'll give some shout-outs as we go along. All super chats are read on the air, so long as they are appropriate and will not demonetize me, and I feel like it and see them. And if you'd like to join the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Floatplane or Patreon. Links are both down in the video description. As a bonus, you can get exclusive access to my Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and keep the party going with the awesome and ever-growing community that's hanging out there.
That's true. That was a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to be back on my game after last week. I was totally not on my game.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
And we live. Thank you, Rev. Yes, we are. And we're on time.
Well, barely, too. I had mic problems.
It was 8:00 when I hit go live, so not my problem if
yeah.
Yep. Let's see. What's happening in chat today? New cam for John, looking clear. No, he's just zoomed in slightly and he's got a little bit more dramatic lighting going on tonight.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks good.
I actually took time. I was like, oh, my son's busy. I'll try to set up. And then like I didn't test the audio. And my microphone, my battery was dead. And then trying to replace it, I broke my clip. And it was just, so, yay, good lighting. And then my audio, well, I got to go get a new clip.
Yep. But yes, we did start on time. As much as John's best efforts tried to break that.
I tried to do the John intro, the John Talking Head day.
Rev, Jeff is looking too real, LOL. I know what I'm about, son. That's kind of what this is becoming. Skull drinking a Surly Furious.
Ooh, very good. Novella Hub is busting out something big with a 2021 Waldo specialty.
Yes.
Going big right away.
Magic's got a Redemption Bourbon. I do have a little Redemption Rye up on my shelf, I think. Or did I finish that bottle off? I might have finished that one off. I thought I had some Redemption, but all I'm seeing is my Resignation Rye. So I think I finished my Redemption.
I gotta get some more rye stuff. I'm all out.
Alex says hello from Vegas. Hello, Alex.
5 on black.
Yep. Let's see. Emma had a Mosaic IPA. Been liking 6.75%, moving to a basic ice cold lawnmower beer. Nothing wrong with a lawnmower beer.
Nothing wrong with that,
especially in July.
And Mosaic.
Yep. Let's see.
Diet Pepsi. Nothing wrong with a Diet Pepsi.
That's right. Had a Gatorade before the show, so I'm feeling frisky.
Had a nice pint of water. I was roughing it.
Man. Not even spiked, just water?
No, just water.
Come on, John. You gotta get on that seltzer craze.
Is that yeah? Well, actually, I do. I usually keep 5 gallons and we're empty.
All right. Well, let's get into what we are drinking tonight. I'll go ahead and start us off tonight because I never do. Might as well. From Level Brewing up here in Portland. This is a local favorite of mine. This is the Game On.
Ooh,
with the Mario 1/1 can art. which I'm very surprised they have not received a C and D before, because there are clearly some lifted textures on this one.
Yes. I think I even did a review on that a long time when it first came out.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had this one or if I ended up cutting that video, because I know there was at least one level beer that I only bought one can of, and then I filmed a video and ended up not using that video. And this one might have been it. But anyway, this is a juicy, big juicy citrus hop, 6.5%. And then this one, I'm not sure if you've seen yet, but from, I always forget where, Iron Horse, that's right. You know Iron Horse Brewery.
Yes.
One of our favorite beers in the Quilter's Irish Death.
Yes.
This is another variant that I had not seen before. This is the Aloha Death.
Oh yes, I have had that.
Have you had that? Okay.
I do like that one.
Yeah. So this one caught my eye because it's got some coconut in it,
Yes.
and mixed in with their Irish Death. So that one could be pretty good. And then had to go a little bit bigger, a little bit darker. Not too big though. From Block 15 down in Corvallis, Oregon. This is Love Potion number 9.
Oh yes, very good one.
Chocolate raspberry stout. Kind of a lighter bodied stout at 7%, but should be just what the doctor ordered to finish things up with.
Yep. I don't really know what my second beers will be, but I'm going to go with, I found this in the back of my fridge. It is Toppling Goliath Cherry Fandango. It is a kettled sour cherry pie theme. So basically just crushed cherry pie, cinnamon, and some vanilla, all in a kettle sour. So it's supposed to give you that cherry pie flavor.
That sounds really, really good, or in a beer could be really, really terrible. So
yes.
Now Toppling Goliath, I have high hopes.
Yes.
I have very high hopes for that one.
Nice and warm in my garage, so I was looking for something nice, easy to drink. Ooh, that's a nice color too.
Oh yeah.
Like blood red.
Yep. Not quite clear, not quite opaque on the
Ooh, wow.
the game on here.
That is a lot sweeter than I was expecting.
Yeah.
That is that's a Jolly Rancher. Wow. I mean, that's really good. That actually does taste like cherry pie filling. More. It's really good, but I think it's almost too sweet.
Yeah.
For 16 ounces.
I'm not crazy.
My producer's in here stealing glassware.
I thought I heard some bottles too. He's like, these are mine.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I need a pint glass. No, that's always the worry when you get into those pie cherries, is especially when you lean kettle sour, is they can be so overbearingly sour that it doesn't matter what happens with the rest of it. It's just a bad beer. And Steve and I were actually talking about that last week with cherries. But leaning too sweet is not what I expected out of that one.
No, I didn't either. I was actually expecting, okay, this is going to be tart and it's going to be, kind of pie-esque.
Yeah, get a little cinnamon nutmeg kind of thing in the back.
And you kind of do get a little bit of that cinnamon in it. No real vanilla, but it kind of reminds me of you remember the old McDonald's cherry pies?
Oh yeah.
It tastes like a beer of that.
Yeah.
Like, so it has that artificial cherryness, whatever that jelly they use.
I don't not like that.
No, I don't not like that either. But yeah, so it's good. I probably wouldn't purposely order a pint of 8 ounces of this. Will be amazing. But I think more of like the Frambrosia raspberry stouts where that's sweet and tart.
Yeah.
That's how this is, but with cherry. So it's
nice.
Yeah. I would buy it again, but I would probably open it with someone to be like, oh, experience this with you.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. A little bit better look at the can art for those who didn't get it. I only have one light on today, so it's a little harsh in the front, but especially in this block texture, I know that's lifted straight out of SMB. So
what about the clouds too?
The clouds, no, those actually have some depth to them. They're more than just 2 colors, and so those.
I should say the cloud/bushes.
Yeah, so those are custom sprites. It does say World 1-1 right there. So they might be in trouble, but it's the same exact header layout. So you've got your score, your coin count. In this case, it's pints. World 1-1, and then your time. Now the Mario dude is not lifted. That is an original design, and the bushes are not lifted. But that block texture, that's straight up cave level. So, but pretty decent beer.
Yeah, I did it way back in 2018.
Yeah, little bit more grassy than citrus bomb juice. Like I was hoping this one would be a little bit juicier and sweeter. And it's not that it's a bad Northwest IPA. It's just not quite, I think, what they were aiming for, especially when their description says a big, juicy citrus hop aroma with lots of hop flavor and moderate bitterness, balanced with a smooth malt backbone. It's almost the inverse of that. It starts a little sweeter and then gets hoppier as the beer gets on, and then you're left with that drying hop bitterness, not a sweet malt back end. So
yeah, I mean, the person who probably writes the description of beers,
mm-hmm.
I mean, they probably have to hire someone specifically just for that. All right, how do I describe this beer?
Yeah.
Juicy, yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah, but this is nothing like what the can proclaims it to be, which means immediately, if that's what they were trying for, it's a 2.5 on Untapped. Like, it's drinkable, but it's not what the can said.
I think it gets like a 3.75.
It's a, like I said, it's a pretty good Northwest style IPA, or West Coast style IPA. I guess you can kind of compare it to like a Stone or Sierra Nevada Pale. It's kind of that lineage, but it's definitely not a juice bomb. That's kind of what they're advertising it as being.
I know. I mean, maybe it's juicy in comparison to, like, say, just a standard pale ale. Yeah, it gets a 3.75.
Okay, yeah.
So,
rating unbiasedly without the knowledge of that, I'd say that's a pretty fair rating. Like, it's a good drinkable beer.
Yeah. I think this is when it came out, because this was one of their first beers to come out. Mm-hmm. I think this was like their flagship IPA.
Yeah.
And so I think it might even have like the highest number of ratings on it.
Yeah, this is one of their first beers that I remember drinking.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was like that and Let's Play, which kind of looked like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
It is one of their higher, like it's their second most reviewed beer.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So yeah.
Yep, that sounds accurate. So.
Oh, I'm totally out of. So anytime I move my hand.
Yeah, anytime you move your hand in front, it's jumping forward and then sliding back. It's really fun to watch.
I bet it is. I bet it is.
All right. We are about, 15 minutes in? Let's go ahead and get to the news. Yeah. So first off tonight is a lawsuit against Google has been allowed to proceed by a U.S. judge. So U.S. District Court in California, Judge Beth Labson Freeman said that they're trying to get class action status on this lawsuit, but it's basically a combined lawsuit from a number of California residents. They're also trying to get this as a federal class action lawsuit against Google. And that is because Google is, I'm going to say the word allegedly here, because nothing's been proven yet. This is simply a complaint that's being lodged against Google, violating your privacy by listening into your conversations and delivering targeted advertisements based off of, what did they say? False accepts on the phrase, okay, activate Google, said smartphone. Trying not to activate anyone's phones right now. But disable it if you have it on.
Hey, sorry. Oh, it's like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, the lawsuit alleges that something that anecdotally I think a lot of us have suspected for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I know I certainly have. So you ever been walking through the department store with your significant other and you say something to the effect of, our lawnmower was starting to go out. I've been thinking about, getting a replacement, and, and you happen to be at Sears, or you happen to be at, when Sears was around, or you happen to be at Home Depot. And you mentioned lawnmower. And then you get home and you log in to your regular round of websites to do your daily news and whatnot. And you log into
Facebook or
Facebook,
Gmail or whatever.
And all of a sudden, there's a Husqvarna ad presented to you, which says, riding lawnmowers now on sale, save $300. And you're like, I've never
what a coincidence.
I've never once seen a lawnmower advertisement ever until just 3 hours ago. I was talking to my wife about how we might need a new lawnmower.
And I didn't even Google search it yet.
Right. Haven't Google searched it. Haven't even begun my investigation, other than mentioned it offhand to someone I was speaking in real life to.
Yes.
No text has taken place in any of this. We've all experienced it.
Oh, yeah.
We've all anecdotally seen that at least a couple of times. Even with, voice assistant turned off, I think we've all experienced that.
Yes.
So is Google that in tune to my daily life? Probably. But also, are they cheating at it? And that's kind of what this lawsuit alleges. The lawsuit is not necessarily for the targeted advertisements. It's that private conversations that initiate the voice assistant are not privy to, or should not be legally allowed to, listen in and direct targeted advertisements based off of false positive accepts from the voice assistant. So if I didn't say, okay, activate voice assistant, okay, computer, hello, computer, that Google is not privy to that conversation, and it's akin to wiretapping.
Yeah. No. Now, see, when I read this, I thought, easy solution. Mm-hmm. We all need comm badges. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, that's the signal to turn it on.
Yeah.
And that's just, why not?
Right.
We saw it work before.
Right. Better yet, I want Google Glass to be a thing, so I can just tap my glasses when I want to, interact with my smartphone.
Yeah, let's just make a visor that goes around our eyes. Maybe with some like gold lines.
Were you peeking at level 17 today?
Of course not, Jeff.
Of course not. Yeah. So sneak peek to those not in the Discord server. I'm building myself Geordi's visor off Star Trek. I know it's a terrible picture, but I'm building myself a 3D printed visor. In fact, if you listen carefully, you might be able to hear my 3D printer whirring in the background. This is one of my second larger projects that I'm trying to do. First one, or I guess this is like the third major endeavor print that I'm trying to dive into. First one I can't reveal because it's going to be a project on a video. Second one I also can't reveal because those are going to people that I know that don't know they're coming yet. Third one was actually something functional in a fan shroud for a passive Tesla card. So I needed a solution to get my Tesla card cooled, and found the model on Thingiverse and went, sweet, and printed it out in resin, and it is freaking awesome. That printer is dialed in. And then now I'm printing Geordi's visor because I can. It's I don't know what to print, so I guess I'll print something fun. Because I think this is going to end up being like a 12-hour total print job. And then there's still a lot of finishing work to do with it because I need to bind all the parts together and body fill it. And this is a pretty complex. Yeah. This one's a pretty complex endeavor. So.
No, I was looking forward to that. I was like, oh, that'll be fun. Great. Let him figure it out. Now I want one.
Yeah. Yep.
Now what you need to do is retrofit it around, have it be able to hold Google Glass inside of there. Oh, don't tell me that's what you're already doing.
I may already be coming up with plans to integrate like a screen and a camera so I could like live view infrared, so it could be like infrared goggles.
It's so stupid how much we think alike with stupid stuff.
You know what I really need? I need a FLIR camera on it. So I could just look at heat signatures.
Yes, that would be great.
Right?
That would be funny. And then you could send the feed out, but have it look like it's coming from a Klingon view screen.
Yeah, totally could.
Yeah, but yes, this class action lawsuit or whatever, it's not technically a class action lawsuit. It is interesting because the more and more you dive into this and stories like this, there are some interesting stories that come out of, because technically I think some of these, it might be the Google one, even there's a story of it called the police on some people because it was listening and it had a false positive.
Right.
It's stuff like that how convenient are these things actually in your life? How much are these devices actually listening to us? Personally, other than my phone, I don't have any of these for this reason, honestly. I just don't want it listening to me all the time. Don't really need it to. And if I did, I would probably constantly spat out like, I know you're listening to me every like 50 seconds. I know you're there.
Yep. Yeah, I always try to throw the FBI agents off. Like, hi, Steve. Yeah. Hi, Tom.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah. Same time?
Same time. Night, y'all. What are we drinking, guys? All right, cool.
Hey, Van 327. It's going to be an early morning, so best get some shut eye.
You guys want to get the lights for me, or should I?
Okay, Google. RCT, hey, Hyper-V GPU-P tutorial coming anytime soon. Number one, I said it was coming soon. And number two, do you know how freaking long it took not only to write, but also produce and edit that 45-minute tutorial I just posted on Monday? Freaking hell, give me a break.
Come on, Jeff, get on it.
I know. Dance, monkey.
Great, that was great. 40 minutes. Where's the next one? I want it now.
Yeah. It's coming. I said it was coming. It'll probably be here next week because it's a much simpler and shorter tutorial, thankfully. But yeah, give me a break. Let me breathe. Sheesh. I'm kidding. Thank you for being here. All right. Let's see. We got one more. Two more big stories to get to, I guess. Let's go ahead and hit this one.
All right.
So, I kind of said as much about 2 weeks ago, and I think Paul's Hardware has been on kind of the same wavelength as me, because I believe it was his Probing Paul a couple of weeks ago, that he goes, there's hope, hashtag, a new hope kind of thing on the horizon with GPU prices. Now, a couple of things happened in the last couple of weeks. Number one, I've started to see bulk cards for sale on various websites. Not one-offs from individuals who happen to buy a single 3070 Ti from Best Buy and, I bought it a week ago and here's the receipt kind of thing. But here's a 3070 for sale. I have 12 of them. I'm starting to see listings like that.
Yeah.
Which means the prices aren't coming down yet, but people are starting to bail. Thing number two that I've seen is cards are starting to show up on retail shelves. Now, they're still at vastly inflated prices because of shipping and logistics costs that have massively gone through the roof because of third-party distributors, even secondary to the board partners that they might work with that are jacking up prices because they go, hey, if I can sell the retailer $1,500 for this card when I bought it from the board partner for $550 and it's supposed to sell for $650, I might as well, because supply and demand, Best Buy's got to get their cards. And then Best Buy has no choice but to sell it at $1,800 or $2,000. So it's been a compounded problem with the whole supply chain for quite some time. But cards are starting to show back up on retail shelves. Again, albeit for inflated prices.
Yeah. They're there if you want to pay it.
Right. We're also starting to see on... Oh, come on.
I had the same thing happen to mine.
I literally just I was looking at the preview and I clicked on the preview and then it jumped to the ad. It's like, come on. Anyway, Chinese crypto miners are starting to dump their GPUs on the secondhand markets in China. Yeah, here's 3060 for 1761, 8GB cards, 8GB and 16GB cards, and 2200 to 2899 won. So here's a whole listing of those. Here's 6850 for 3060s, and the list goes on and on. So yes, there is some reprieve, hopefully, on the very near horizon. GPU drop began earlier than expected. Actually, most people predicted mid-July. And I wouldn't have said mid-July 6 weeks ago, but as of 2 weeks ago, I started to say, I think mid-July to August 1st, we should start seeing cards back down at least near retail prices, if not for retail prices. It's going to take some time for the supply chain to readjust as cards become available and as demand starts to be met. Because remember, demand is also through the roof. So even if cards start showing up on retail shelves, as soon as they drop the price back down to maybe even 10% above what they should be selling for, they're still going to fly off the shelves. And,
because there's still going to be scalpers at that time.
Right.
And people who just want them.
Right. And there's also going to be people who didn't realize the scalper market isn't still a thing. And I'm seeing this quite a few times on eBay, because I peruse eBay like, I'd say daily, but that's a lie. No, it's like 3 times a day.
Hourly, by quarter. Yeah.
Plus I have like targeted searches and I get notifications for when things show up and whatnot. I'm still seeing like 3090s being listed at 3,500 buy it now. It's like, that was even ridiculous 2 months ago. Like 2,800, okay, maybe. Probably 2,500 is a lot more realistic today. And that's if you have a board partner card, like, one of those Zotac triple thick, beasts or something like that. Those would be, I hate to say worth, but kind of worth that money.
Well, I mean, yeah, you also have to have that kind of money to drop that for that worth. Is it really that worth it for you? Probably not. If you can wait a couple months, then you'll be much happier.
Well, I bought one, but but I did it in a very specific way. I still choked on it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I bought a 3090 at eBay at scalper prices, but it's because I sold my 7150 X2s that I bought for $330 a piece. So I bought them for basically $1,000. I sold them for $2,875.
So you got the card basically nothing.
So I got the card for like $1,000.
$1,000, yeah.
So minus the $300 in seller fees. But I sold a couple other little things to make up that difference. So yeah, I got the card for what I paid for my 7150 X2s a year ago.
Yeah.
So
basically you paid maybe $300, $250 above board.
Right. Yeah. No, actually below. Because that card's a $1,500 card. I bought a Founders Edition.
Oh, then so then you actually got a deal.
Right.
The way it worked out.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I could have hodled for 2 months and gone and bought a Founders Edition card for, $1,700 instead of $2,800. But I wanted to do this project now, and I wanted to do a couple of things with the card now. And I've actually been less than happy with my 6900 XT as a content creator video card. There's been a number of problems that I've had with it, and I'm probably going to make a video about it, that I spent $1,700 on that card. Now it should be $1,000 card because I also bought a reference edition 6900 XT, but I had to trade it out because I was having so many little issues with it. Nothing I think that would sway a gamer from buying it, and in fact, it's probably still one of the best bangs for the buck as far as gamer cards go.
So it was like more video editing
issues, video rendering issues, things like that, where it was causing me such grief with Adobe Premiere in particular that I had to abandon it. So, and I'm sorry, first world problems. I wasn't going to go back to my 2080. Like, come on.
Oh, yes.
Come on.
Oh. You live such a hard life, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. I suffer for my craft, John.
Yes.
So yes, GPU prices are finally kind of on the mend, and hopefully sometime soon you'll be able to actually buy one.
Yeah. So hopefully toward midsummer, mid-ish summer.
Yeah.
And then maybe even beginning of fall, retail prices will actually be what the stores are selling it for. Hopefully.
I hope so. Yeah.
Hope so. That's well. I'm still waiting till the winter. I'll probably wait till like Christmas time.
Yep.
Then I'll take a look.
Because you got a couple cards to upgrade, don't you?
Yes. Yeah,
well,
that's the other thing too. I might even just be like, all right, I'm gonna go find me a 20 series.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a bad idea, especially for like your arcade system, to get like a 1660 or a 1660 Super or something like that. Like, you don't need balls to the wall performance out there, but the R9 270 is not going to do you much good for much longer.
No, it's not. I was actually thinking about that the other day.
Mm-hmm. I might be able to do a permanent loan on a card, John. If you ask nicely.
Well, I was actually thinking about retrofitting like a keg tap in there. I was really thinking about making a video about like finishing the design and then putting a mini, like a 2.5 gallon keg refrigerator unit or something
into the side
of
your cabinet.
Into the side of the cabinet.
That'd be pretty cool. All right. Speaking of adding taps to things, we do have a video sponsor today. Today's episode of Talking Heads is brought to you by Linode. If you've ever needed to host your own servers, whether it be for home or business use, but don't have the resources or time to invest in hardware, power, cooling, or even the space, see the server rack that sits out in my garage, why not let Linode host them for you? Because if it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes the software from most of the tutorials you see on my channel, like how to run your own ad-blocking recursive DNS server, VPN gateway, cloud-based Plex server, and more. Linode makes it simple to deploy and manage your own cloud services, with solutions ranging from a single shared CPU to massive multi-core virtual machines. They even offer dedicated RTX 6000 graphics cards for graphic rendering or machine learning. With shared CPU plans starting at as little as $5 per month and scaling up to as high as you need to go, you'll be able to find a hosting plan that fits your needs. And even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode as an offsite backup. Because remember, RAID is not a backup. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing to get a $100 60-day credit just for signing up for a new account. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and thanks to them again for sponsoring today's video.
I'm kind of surprised you don't have that audio on like pre-recorded so you can just hit go.
I want to do it as a live read. They do it on the radio, they do it on the radio all the time, so why can't I do live reads? So I know it would give me a chance to breathe and have a drink, but I think live reads are more effective. And I think I can I can charge a higher price for live reads.
Endearing too,
I think it is.
Yeah.
You know, who doesn't like hearing me stumble over cloud-based Plex server every single freaking time? Like, I wrote the ad. Do you think I would at this point modify it?
You're like,
cloud-based Plex server. It's either cloud-based or cloud-based PEX. It's like I either add or drop an L. Cloud-based PEX server.
Hey,
bet you didn't know you needed one of those.
For all your push-ups and bench presses go.
Yep. Anyway, visit Linode.com. Great sponsor of the show. And again, seriously, thank you to them for sponsoring. because John needs more beer in his fridge.
I do. I'm finding new ones all the time, and that means I'm running out of good treasures to find.
Yes. Oh. All right, and that brings us to how you doing? Is yours a 12 or is yours more?
Mine's a 16.
Okay, you got a 16. Okay.
I'll probably snag one in a little bit. It is easy to drink. It is a little sweet, but it is easy to drink.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna polish this one off and then open my next one, and then we can get into the title story from today.
Yes. Something that I was actually intrigued by. I didn't get to read all of it, but I do know the program. I am very familiar with this program.
I use Audacity in daily work.
I have used Audacity ever since high school. From basically, this is one of the first music recording softwares I've ever used.
Yep. So we're opening up the Iron Horse Brewery Aloha Death. This is a 6.5% coconut-infused Quilter's Irish Death.
Yes. Which you and I both love the standard Irish Death. I think pretty much everyone on the show does.
You know how we always say coconut is one of those hardest flavors to keep in a beer?
Yep.
Holy crap.
You either get it right or you get it wrong.
I have had pina coladas with less coconut on the nose than this. Wow. That's like Almond Joy levels of coconut. Oh, and it continues all the way through. Oh, that's yummy.
No, it gets better even as it warms up, I think.
That is a good beer.
I liked that one better than the peanut butter one.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the peanut butter just wasn't peanut buttery enough.
No, because I was sitting there wanting it to be like a Reese's peanut butter cup, and it's just like,
what it
I
was,
get a little roasty.
It was like the LaCroix of a peanut butter parfait.
Yeah.
It was like, may have been in a Dairy Queen and seen a peanut butter parfait at some point. Like, it was like this roasted dark chocolate peanut flavor, but way as an afterthought.
Yeah, it was like they put the peanut like skin, that thin layer of skin. And it was like, okay, that's what I got in this. I didn't get the peanut. I got this little greasy part that you're like, I think that's
you got the oil and you're going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you got. And you're like, okay, I guess some people could like this. No, that one I liked. And it's a cheap price too. I think it's only like $2 or under $2 a can, something like that.
Yeah, thereabouts. I think this was $9 for a 6-pack or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, right about that $2 mark.
Yeah, really nice. A dark beer. The body's not too thick. It's not a bourbon barrel aged beer, so it's nice, easy to drink. That one is another great one to have with some nice beef or stew or something like that. But it is tropical, so. Maybe actually, what would be? I wonder for like some seafood, like shrimp or something.
Some shrimp would probably go really well.
Yeah, so shrimp it would complement it, but it would be interesting because of I don't really particularly think of stout with fish.
No, but technically this is just a dark ale. It's a 6.5%. It's actually fairly light-bodied for a dark beer.
It's very light-bodied.
But I can see shrimp going really well with this, which seafood is not normally one that you pair with a dark beer. No. Seafood is usually Pilsner or Kolsch or something like that. Yeah,
something very light and bubbly and crisp.
Yeah. I love Kolsch with a good fish taco or something like that.
Yes, that would work good.
That's my go-to. But no, I could see shrimp working with this. Maybe some clam chowder.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The creaminess, coconut could work. The darkness and creaminess could work all together. So. Yeah.
Dang it! Now I'm wanting clam chowder.
I want coconut shrimp.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Moving on to the story that people already called as potentially being clickbait. However, I'm going to stop some of you right there. Do you know the reason that clickable titles exist? It's so you will click on the title and hopefully get the full story. The reason the title of today's episode of Talking Heads, episode 191, says, Audacity is spying on you, is because that's all I've been reading for the last week. And quite honestly, it's not true. So yes, it was clickbait, but it was clickbait based off false titles and articles that have been published in false pretenses. And I want you to come here and get the actual story, which is not much of a story.
Yes, basically, it's not true.
So let's go.
It's not
in.
Norton VPN
Right.
or Norton antivirus.
Right. This isn't Norton or Symantec or anything like that trying to, underhand you and sell all your data to foreign nations or anything like that. So, FOSSpost, free open source software post.org, posted this article on July 6th. So, yesterday, as it were. Audacity is now possible spyware. Remove it as soon as possible. Kind of a grabby headline, right? Okay. Well, let's go down their accusations here. That a couple of months ago, a company called Muse Group purchased Audacity from the previous owners. And this group happens to be Russian national. They are a Russian group. Okay? So let's get that out of the way. They have an updated privacy policy that they actually posted 2 months ago and went through discussions with the free and open source community about what was acceptable for privacy issues and data collection and everything like that. Here is from that privacy post what they collect. App analysis for improving our apps, which includes operating system version, user country based on IP address. So that is your root ISP IP address, not your, well, I guess, yes, your personal IP address, but they're looking for the country of origin in your in your IP address, not necessarily your IP address itself. OS name and version. So Windows 11, the previous beta, that was illegal. Your CPU, non-fatal error codes and messages. So any dialog boxes that pop up that are non-fatal crashes, and crash reports in the form of the BreakPad mini dump format, which is a standardized format for breaking down crash codes, memory dumps, that kind of thing. Legal grounds for processing this data. Legitimate interest of WSM Group to offer and ensure proper functionality of the app. So, what operating system are you on? What country are you in? And why did the app crash? That's what they're collecting. Not really a smoking gun to be had there. Well, let's go down to for legal enforcement. Data necessary for law enforcement, litigation, and authorities requests, if any. That is subpoenaable information that you are in the possession of or in production of, shall we say, very much so illicit material in every single state nation. And that is for legitimate interest of WSM Group to defend its legal rights and interests. So it's not even if you're producing anything, it's if you're producing anything that's against the WSM Group, which is the owner of Audacity. What are they not collecting? Everything else. Okay? So the problem with this article is they say, who does Audacity share your personal data with? We may disclose personal data listed above, your hashed IP address, to the following categories of recipients: our staff members, any competent law enforcement body, our auditors, advisors, legal representatives, or similar agents, or to a potential buyer. Now here's the deal. Potential buyer is a very specific term in legalese. Potential buyer is not someone wanting to purchase your personally identifiable information. It's not what that means. Potential buyer is a potential buyer of Audacity, the software suite, period. Okay. Just like Muse Group just purchased, or WSM Group just purchased Audacity from Muse Group, so might WSM want to sell off Audacity as an ownership item to another company, which means they'd be allowed to share your personal use information as it pertains to Audacity with a third-party purchaser of the company, of the software title. Not Google.
Yeah, not some random
not
ad.
Facebook, not ad providers. That's not what that means. And so the internet has been in an uproar for about the last week because someone read through this and went, "Oh my God, they're going to skim your personally identifiable information and sell it to third parties and potential buyers of your information."
Well, they probably saw they're going to get your IP address and where your location's at, and then they got access to your CPU. That's pretty much probably what they're doing.
Listen to everything they can take. Your OS, which, by the way, if you've ever visited any website ever, your OS name and version is already in the header of the HTML that you or of your packet request. So they know what website to deliver you, whether it's the mobile variant or the desktop variant or the iPad variant or whatever. It's already in the header. Your IP address, guess what? If you visited any website ever, they already have your IP address, or at least the IP address that they need to forward down the chain to get to your IP address. They know geographically where you're at already, which is why you see, hot MILFs in lower Earth orbit ready for you.
Weird.
To quote XKCD.
I always get ones that say that are not interested in you. Kind of weird.
Oh, you mean everyone else?
It's just like your neighbor who's attractive is not interested in you. Ha ha ha.
What I always found funny is there's 300 and some odd people near you who are using this app and looking for love tonight kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, the town I live in, that's like more than half the population. I seriously doubt it. It is not that lonely on the streets of my former town, let me tell you that much.
No, it is not.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, the exact statement used for to a potential buyer was to a potential buyer and its agents and advisors, which means any law firm or marketing agency or whatever working in the respect and request of a potential buyer in connection with any proposed purchase, merger, or acquisition of any part of our business, provided that we inform the buyer it must use your personal data only for the purposes disclosed in this notice. There's even in the same flippin' sentence an addendum that John just died. I think he probably unplugged his iPad or his laptop.
What?
Your camera's off, buddy.
What? I wonder if it overheated.
There's an addendum literally in the same sentence that people were misinterpreting that says we can share it with potential purchasers of a section of our business, provided that they use your personal data only for the purposes disclosed within this whole notice.
Whoopsie.
And so the fact that the free and open source post.org posted this article is tantamount to slander of Audacity. It really is. Because there is nothing in this user agreement, personal privacy agreement, that is audacious, shall we say, let alone even makes me raise an eyebrow. Remember, Russian companies are completely cool when it comes to software. Yeah, but the free and open source community is pretty darn good about checking the source code to make sure that everything that they're collecting is actually what they say they're collecting and nothing more. Like, there's an aspect to being free and open source and what data is collected and what methods are they sent that is kind of open to the public as an open source source. Secondly, I had another point. Hold on, lost it. Where's it at? I'll get it. Hold on. Open source. lost it. It'll come back. Ars Technica wrote a fantastic rebuttal about no, Audacity is not spyware. Don't worry about it. Oh, right. Number one, the changes haven't even been pushed to source yet. Number one. Because they're talking about this privacy policy change as of version 3.03. You can only download the source and binaries and release for 3.02. This privacy policy isn't even in place yet. So it's not like they're going to push an update to your free open source software that was download only, no auto update mechanism in it to force you into a privacy policy that you disagree with that can data mine off of you.
Yeah.
Secondly, the data collection is opt-in only, which can also be audited as being part of free and open source software. The only time that it is opt-out is if you compile from source yourself on your platform. If you go to GitHub or wherever this happens to be hosted, and you download the source and you compile the source yourself, by default, it will have you opt into the data collection. However, it will also prompt you during the compilation if you want to opt out. And by default, the installer for the binaries is opt-in only. That's it. And again, there's nothing more open than open source software. And do you think this is not going to be vetted by the open source community? One of the most popular downloads of open source software that's available right now in Audacity, the most used audio editor on the planet.
Oh yeah.
You don't think this is going to be audited and checked and verified for the privacy policy that they're sending out?
Well, even so, too, you can then go to places and be like, oh, if you feel like you said earlier, you don't have to download this version. How many times can you go and find a old version of Audacity on there and just go, I need that one? It's not like the drivers are that constantly being updated to give you all these amazing new features. I mean, it's still basically roughly the same program as it's been.
Right.
So you could probably go get version 1.1 and be like, yeah, this still works for me. It's great. That's all I need. Half the time people just use it for MP3 conversions, you know.
Let's see. Jim asks me how much liquor I have. Well, let me just pan stage right. A lot.
And then there's the 2 fridges he has. Well, that's beer. But.
Yeah, so this is just the beer fridge, which is the whole thing, including the freezer, is a 5.9 cubic foot, I want to say. The fridge space is like 4 cubic foot by itself. So there's a lot of space in there, and it is 100% packed with cans. I have another fridge out in the garage, which is a 13.5 cubic foot. Now, again, like 4 cubic foot of that is the fridge, and the other, 11 feet of that is or the 4 cubic feet is the freezer. The other 11 cubic feet is the fridge. The fridge is jam packed full of cans, much to my wife's chagrin. She's not all that happy that our secondary fridge out in the garage has become my secondary beer fridge only, because it was supposed to be for like the extra eggs and milk and stuff like that we bought from Costco, or the meat that we were thawing out or whatever else. And now it's just like, this is the 3 cans of beer I need to grab for Talking Heads. I thought you had beer in your office. Well, yeah, but I didn't want to drink those.
Yeah, no, these are like the specialty ones I keep to like close to me, so I know these are my babies.
Yeah, they're near and dear to my heart. Like
these are like cousins. It's like I'll visit them every now and then, like once a week I'll see them. Yeah, I love you guys, but you're not welcome inside.
Yeah.
Let's hang out once a week. I'll drink you.
Yep. All right. You about ready for your second beer?
Yes, I am.
Close? All right.
I am gonna go a bit big, but I am gonna go coconut, just as you did. But I'm gonna go AleSmith's Speedway Stout It is their coffee.
Oh, that's the
and
coffee one.
coconut.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coffee and coconut.
Nice.
So, 12%. Mostra coffee and coconut Imperial Stout, special release, 12%.
Well, I feel weird that my heaviest beer was a 7% tonight.
Well, you also have 3 versus.
I do have, well, 2 of them were 12s though.
Yeah,
You're having
technically
2
your
pint-
ounce counts will still be larger than mine.
Yeah, but it still doesn't sit well with me, John.
You usually get the big beers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought there, and again, kind of, this was.
So I figured I'd come down to your level for once.
Ah, okay.
That's what that is.
Oh, that's got a big coffee nose on it. The Speedway Stout in general is a great big imperial. I believe they're bourbon barrel aged or a barrel of some kind.
Yeah.
Coffee being from Brazil, Philippines. Oh, there's a bunch of different coffee in here. Okay, it's not barrel aged.
Patrick says, "Who needs eggs?" I couldn't agree more. Who needs eggs and 2 gallons of milk? Like,
I think we have 3.
yeah, we usually keep about 3 on hand.
Or that 2.5 or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in my house, we drink like 3 different types of milk, and so my wife is pretty much the only one who drinks like milk, and so we usually have at least a half gallon of milk, usually 1%. My youngest daughter, so a little bit, can't have dairy, and so her and neither can I very much. Like, I'll still eat pizza and like super processed milks, but I can't have just straight milk or ice cream or things like that. So both her and I drink soy milk for just about everything. And then I also usually have like a half gallon of coconut milk on hand, because I like coconut milk for coffee is really good. But have you ever tried it on like Honey Bunches of Oats?
Ooh.
Oh, you will live a new life, let me tell you.
That's an interesting thing.
Yes.
That would be nice and smooth.
Yeah, so I do almond milk for a lot of different things, and I use almond milk for a lot of my cooking and things like that. But coconut milk on Honey Bunches of Oats or shredded mini wheat or things like that, oh, life-changing.
I have to try that.
Life-changing.
I might have to go buy a little bit of coconut milk and try that. I assume it's not the coconut milk that, you know, you get in the can, not the clear stuff.
No. No, this is like the
dairy alternative.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So go to your milk section. Look for your milk alternative section, which has all the weird types of milk like cashew and almond and whatnot. Grab yourself like a pint of coconut milk.
Okay.
And just give it a shot.
Yeah, I'd probably do that.
Ooh, coconut Honey Bunches of Oats. Exactly. Like, even in your brain, you're going, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, you're sitting there thinking it's got this, you got that sweet honeyness, you got some granola, and then you got coconut, and a little bit of crunchy. You're like, oh, that does sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that already not a flavored cereal?
I know, right? Like, Honey Bunches of Oat with coconut, like, that was meant to be.
Yeah, right? Why don't they put like little shreds of coconut in there?
Yeah, but
I know a lot of people that don't like coconut.
I know, and I usually don't associate with them.
Yeah,
it's like people who don't like pineapple on pizza.
I was gonna, damn it, you beat me to it.
You're on my show, dang it. Hipster milk. Well, I have been drinking almond milk since long before it was cool. So.
Yeah, I'd say almond milk is the hipster milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I guess not cashew could be considered more.
No.
It's the ultra hipster.
Yeah, no, I've done cashew milk before too. I don't like it nearly as much as almond milk. It's much thicker than almond milk is. So.
Or you can be completely hipster and go unpasteurized cow milk.
Yeah.
That's true hipster. I think my sister actually used to get that delivered to her house.
Yeah.
For a while. They lived in Oregon City. and it was a small little company. I think it was like a little hipster guy.
Yeah.
And they had the glass jars and everything, and they deliver them to you.
Did he have the full mustache?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
I assume because he's trying to probably be artisan.
Mine's almost getting to the point where I could go full hipster. It's almost curling here.
And then what you need to do is then you have to get like a leather apron as you're, doing stuff.
Yeah.
You can have your fedora still on. You have a leather apron and have a pipe while you're working on a computer. And then all your tools though have to be old school, like a wooden mallet and a chisel.
Uh-huh.
You have to do that on your computer to like undo stuff. Like when you're building a keyboard, putting it together, you have to use a mallet and chisel.
I'm actually fairly adept at using hand tools, like chisels and hammers and things like that. So I don't know if a lot of people remembered my Dishonored case mod that I did. That was, almost 3 years ago now for QuakeCon. I did that entirely without power tools. Like I did use a jigsaw to cut out a big chunk of the case, but a lot of that was done with hand files and things like that. And personally, it came out spectacular. Like I loved that case. And it's actually down on the floor behind me right now. But that's kind of why 3D printing intrigues me and why I'm doing a lot of this stuff, is because I like working with small hand tools and Dremels and hand finishing a lot of things. I love painting. I love maker type work. God, every single episode of Tested is always on within like 20 minutes if it's posted here in my office. And I've said a number of times that if I could go back and do any job for the rest of my life that I've already worked, it would be CNC machinist. Like, that's what I would go do. Aside from doing what I do now, because I love what I do now. And maybe one day I'll get CNC machines back in my shop. So,
all right, guys, we're going to CNC a case today. Let's do this.
Why not? Why not? Like, I am very much a maker at heart. And
if you get a CNC machine, I want a giant Enterprise D.
Okay.
I want that.
You want the D?
I want the D. I want the biggest D you could give me.
Okay. Okay. How big is too big?
Oh, as long as I can fit it in my place, I'm fine with that.
Is on the roof okay? Because I got scale models that'll we could hoist it above your garage. That'd be amazing.
There we go. Oh no, we could take it to the farm and like put it on a tree and suspend it from there.
Oh heck yeah!
And we can try to put it on like a zip line.
Yep. Novella Hub says CNC machine in the new edition. You're darn right. Yeah. So I'm planning a new addition to the house that will end up being my new studio and almost 900 square feet. And I figured out a way to eke out another 350 square feet for a shop. So I'm going to have like a 350 square foot makerspace, and then the upper story of the makerspace will double as storage for craft computing. And so I'm going to have like 1,500 square feet to just craft computing, which is going to be awesome.
Nope, not jealous at all.
Yep.
Who needs that? I got a nice corner in my uninsulated garage.
Yeah, right?
So much nicer.
Oh, by the way, I'm also going to like way overspec the air conditioning for the shop as well. Because my servers are going to go in the shop, because while they're okay in my garage, they still reach temperatures in the summer that I'm not too keen on. So yes. Yeah, no, we will have air conditioning in the shop, and super, super insulated, and even more insulated, mainly for sound, but also for heat in the studio. So hopefully, like, by next summer, I moved into that.
Ooh.
I believe we have some beer news to get to.
Yeah, we do have one little bit. It is not a whole lot this week, but, you know, like I was asking you about the coffee, you obviously like coffee. I don't want to say I like it. I enjoy a cup of coffee,
Mhm.
and I'm not like a huge espresso kind of guy. I gotta have multiple cups. I usually have my standard 16 ounce for the morning. Gets me kind of going. It's more of now just routine habit. It's not that I need it. It's more just like, oh, I have to have my cup of coffee. I am actually more of a tea person, but my wife got me into just. Well, she has coffee. All right, brew an extra 16 ounces. I'll take it,
Mhm.
type of a thing. And well, I am also a lover of IPAs. I'm a lover of big, bold, hoppy, bitter IPAs. Well, I guess there's a study out. It's been a while, but it is out there that apparently people who love beer, especially hoppy, bitter ones, and coffee, well, we're probably psycho.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
A new study associates taste preferences with personality traits.
Yeah,
I like it bitter, just like my soul.
Yes. Oh. So basically, every hipster is a psycho. Well, that makes sense. Actually,
Right?
As I'm stating, it's like, oh wait, no, yeah, they're onto something there. Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Again, something we already knew, like Google is listening in on our conversations. By the way, I guarantee I'm going to wake up in the morning to a lawnmower advertisement on one of my daily websites.
Oh, probably. Actually, I have been looking into a new lawnmower, so it's fine.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to go and see all these new lawnmowers from me. Like, yay. But yeah, so apparently if you like the taste of bitter in your mouth, especially the straight black dark coffee.
That's usually where I taste most things, John.
Yes. What?
Your camera died again.
No, it's plugged in.
I don't know what to tell you.
Ah.
Except your camera died again. Most people who like bitter foods were likely to score high in the areas that measure psychopathy, sadism, and aggression. In fact, they write, an affinity for bitter foods was a better predictor of personality than any other taste. So, the fact that I'm sitting here drinking this one's not so bitter. Maybe a little bit of a sour finish. John said it got better as it went along. I actually kind of disagree. I liked it just slightly colder. Not that this was extraordinarily cold when I started it, but the coconut's still on the nose, but I'm getting more of a sour note as it goes along.
Pardon me. All right, hang on. I gotta go grab a battery.
That's okay. I can carry the show by myself.
Stupid battery.
Anyway, yeah, pretty much all they determined was that bitter foods make you a psychopath. It was more accurate to predict that than it was to predict any other trait based on taste versus personality. So if you like coffee and IPAs, there's a good chance there's a reason for that. Self-hatred might go along with that. 500 people taking a survey is not science. Yes and no, because 500 people taking a survey, as long as it's a proper cross-section, and they control for the various things that need to be controlled for, can be actually pretty flippin' accurate, and I think it would surprise you. A survey of 500 people surveyed in a random location about who they voted for president may not be accurate because that depends on geography. You know, there's a lot more things that cater into those things in a study, but medically you can actually get to a point as long as you take proper variables into account. 500 people gets you a lot of different information. Is it bitter food makes you psycho, or you're psycho because you eat them? Or you're psycho and you eat them? Right. So this is one of those areas where causality, or correlation does not necessarily imply causality. What that means is just because I like bitter foods doesn't mean I'm psycho, or just because I'm psycho, does that mean that I like bitter foods?
Well,
it's a chicken and the egg thing. Yeah, the controls are really important. Right. Like, I'm no scientist. Like, that's not my brain. I'm not a scientist. I just do funny things on YouTube. And although the study makes for a good case for correlation between dark personalities and preference for bitter flavors, it doesn't provide any information about what might cause that preference. Is it biology or psychology or both? So they actually did kind of answer that question, as they don't know if it's the psycho that makes you like bitter foods because you hate yourself, or you like you're psycho and you happen to like bitter foods, or bitter foods made you psycho. They don't know. John, are you back yet? Do you have a webcam on your laptop? Like, John hurting himself? It sounds like it. John says he's not psycho, but sadism was actually included in this list. So psychopathy, sadism, and aggression for people who like bitter things. And here's John hurting himself in the background. Maybe we need to ask him some questions when he gets back on. I usually start the show with how you're doing, and I didn't do that tonight. So maybe I need to ask John how he's doing. Now I hear things sliding around. Like there's furniture being moved. Oh, we're getting serious now. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch. Not the Switch Pro that inside leakers say is coming in July. Which inside leakers have said that's coming for like almost over a year now. Rather, the Nintendo Switch that we ended up getting, which was the, hey, John's back, which was the Nintendo Switch with OLED.
Yeah, there it is.
Hey, John's back.
Hey, I'm back.
It's a different camera angle. What'd you do?
I was adjusting the battery, so.
Okay. So just wherever it lands is cool with
wherever it lands, it's cool. There we go. Something like that.
All right. That works.
That works.
So let's talk about the new Nintendo Switch.
Does it play in 4K?
No.
Wait. Does it have better graphics? Does it have better battery life?
Also, no. And no.
Wait. Well, what does it do?
It has an OLED screen.
Okay.
Oh, and it's $50 more.
Is it bigger?
No.
Is it come in cool colors?
Also, no. New software.
Bluetooth capable.
Ooh. You can use Bluetooth headphones now.
Actually, I don't think you can.
Yes, actually, that's an official spec. You can use Bluetooth headphones now.
Okay, so there we go.
On the Switch OLED. Available October 8th.
It's a reaction from the beer and the article.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, everyone was expecting the Switch 4K to come out. It was supposed
Switch
to be,
Pro. Right.
The Switch Pro, the 4K, or 2K, whatever, 720p, 60 frames per second. Give me something like that, at least when it's in docking mode. No, what we got was, I don't even think a half-inch bigger screen. I think it's like 0.4 inches bigger. It goes from like a 6.8 to like a 7.01.
Right. They made the bezel slightly smaller.
Yeah. It's like, it's a better screen. Well, what about the frame rate and the resolution? That's the same. It's 30 at 720. We didn't change a damn thing. The best thing we did, we listened to consumers. We changed the kickstand.
Yeah, instead of the little flimsy kickstand, it's now got a full-length kickstand that'll actually hold it up.
They went with like the Surface 2 style, like 3 clicks or whatever.
Yeah, the 50-50 kickstand with 3 clicks of adjustability. Yeah.
So, yay! It's still the exact same controllers. So
Emma just asked, did they fix the Joy-Cons?
Yeah. No, they didn't. So you're still gonna get your drifting issues, which I'm on my second controller to fix for that right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm still on my originals, believe it or not.
No, I'm on a second, but I've been repairing them, and the repairs are obviously the quality of those are horrible too. Yeah. But
I haven't had to repair mine yet. Like I'm looking for any wood I can knock on right now because I am on my original Joy-Cons.
No, yeah,
from 3 years ago.
Yeah, I bought first edition Switch.
Yeah,
and
I have an original edition too, although it was a later model original Switch. And by that I mean we were already well a year into production.
Oh yeah, I think I bought my first
or a year well into production, shall we say? Because I bought it specifically to go to PAX in case I wanted to do game reviews. Because this is back in 2018. I really didn't know what direction I wanted to take the channel in at that point. And now I'm wearing this hat. But I didn't know if I wanted to lean into game reviews or do something like that. It's still something I may end up swiveling towards, but on a second channel. Stay tuned. But yes, I bought a Switch specifically for if I wanted to do game reviews at PAX, and we had a number of different people that we met with at PAX that were releasing Switch games because it was the hot thing to do in 2018. I need to be able to play them.
Yeah.
So I bought a Switch specifically to take on that trip.
So yeah, I still like the Switch for what it is. Mm-hmm. I still really enjoy it. It's not a console crusher, but it is essentially the best portable gaming system on a budget that you will ever find.
Yeah.
To date. And the games are really good games.
Oh, you said on a budget, because I was going to say my GPD Win 3 is a hell of an experience.
I know what he's going to say, but I said, no, on a budget.
Yeah.
So $50 more, you get a little bit better screen with maybe a little bit brighter, because the OLED is probably a little bit brighter.
Yep.
I don't remember what else is that. The kickstand, a little bit better battery life. No, the battery life's the same. They stated same controllers. It's a white-looking thing. I guess the docking station has a proper Ethernet, or has a proper port for internet. Something like that.
2011 called. It's PS Vita. How are you? OLED screen, Ethernet to a handheld. How dare you?
Mm-hmm.
Innovators in 2021. Nintendo is.
Gosh, I mean, it really seemed like they were just like, we have to push something out now. Okay, what do we have?
I did see one very interesting take on this release, and that is that maybe Nintendo fully intended on releasing a Switch Pro in July of 2021. However, they encountered the same backorder, silicon, high demand, low availability that everyone else did. And so they needed to do something to kind of reinvigorate sales, because we're mid-cycle on the Nintendo Switch. It's been out for 4 years now.
Yeah.
You've put out the Switch Lite to pretty good reception, but it's a $200 handheld versus what money could we be making if we had a better handheld? We can't do much. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here mid-cycle. What if we took the same chassis and engineered it to hold an OLED? It's an upgrade.
I know, but
right?
I don't. Yeah, if that truly is the way that they were going to go, I don't know then what the next step will be. You're either going to get crushed.
Well, the next step is Switch Pro with 4K graphics and
But how soon do you release that? Do you release that within the next year, 12 months after now? then you're going to get crushed saying this one was a complete disaster and waste of everyone's time.
Whoa. How many different Game Boy special editions have we seen released? Different variants of the Game Boy SP, with one with an IPS display and a brighter backlight, and then we've got some special edition handhelds that have some different paint on the casing, and like, I get it, but there is a certain thing to say of enticing new people to the space that haven't been there before, and I think OLED might be one of the ways to do that. Now, it wasn't the 4K docked 1080p mobile gaming experience that kind of all of us who have already had a Switch for 4 years really wanted.
Yeah, we wanted something 1080p, 60 frames per second, and at least 60 frames per second, and like 2K when you docked it. Something like that.
Right.
Give me that.
Right.
It's not unheard of.
Right. But this is running on essentially a Tegra X1. And if number one, NVIDIA isn't ready to publish the next version of that chip, which could very well be possible because they want to push ray tracing on Nintendo Switch or some BS like that, or simply stated that they didn't have the fab space available to produce them in good enough numbers to, validate a release. But you need to boost sales because they're kind of dwindling because, well, everyone already has a Switch, and everyone who's already bought a second Switch for their 2 kids has already bought a second Switch for the 2 kids. Where's the incentive to upgrade? Where's the incentive to buy a new one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't.
This feels like a mid life cycle move that is not exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's even a midlife cycle move because it seems that, like you said, been 4 years, and usually it's 4 to 5 years that a new console. Now, the Switch Pro won't be a new console. It's going to be the exact same console with just better resolution, essentially. And they're not going to be giving us anything better. And so what are they going to do? Release Mario Odyssey 2 as the title game for it, where this one is they're pushing out Metroid, and that's, I think, isn't it a third-person developer made this, and it's basically just an indie run and shoot type game.
Kinda.
I'm still gonna honestly, I'm probably still gonna get it. I'm a huge Metroid fan, and I'm kind of really happy they went.
Like, you're not gonna buy a Nintendo first party game.
Exactly. But
I have Mario versus Raving Rabbids.
Oh, see, I didn't buy that one,
and it's genuinely fun.
Is it?
It's a strategy Mario game. And yes, I didn't think any of that was possible. It's actually legitimately a good time.
Where they're coming out with a second one now.
Yeah. No, I know. I saw that and I went, oh crap.
You know, so I just got
there goes $40.
Yeah, I know. I just actually bought Mario Golf. And as stupid as it sounds, it's actually pretty fun to play because it kind of brings that Tiger Wood Wii aspect. I really like the Tiger Wood and the Wii games, especially when they reintroduced the ultra sensitive Wii controllers.
Yeah, the Motion Plus.
The Motion Plus, and so that's how they are with this one. And you have that, but then there's a couple other adventure ones, and so me and my son at least get to play golf, and it's entertaining.
Yeah. And so as a 9-year-old, I had Mario Golf for the Game Boy.
Oh, man.
Like,
why?
I had Mario Golf. And you know what? When you have like 8 games to play, you play Mario Golf.
That's true. No, it was Tiger Woods for the Wii was the first golf game I ever bought. And it was like, okay, I actually enjoyed this game.
Yeah. But no, I'm thinking back to like some of the weird, obscure games for the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance that I owned, that I played the absolute crap out of, that I probably shouldn't have and still did.
Well, I will give it to Nintendo. They do produce some of those type of games. They're really well known. Now, they're not going to be these big blockbuster titles that everyone's going to be going after him, playing all and talking about everything. You know, no Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have that. They're the family console, honestly. They're the console for the family and especially the younger kids, and the early generation, like you or I. We grew up probably on Nintendo. You know,
I was a split household. I had Nintendo and Sega.
Ah, okay. Well, we had Sega for like 3 months, and we're like, 3 buttons. This is stupid. And,
John, are you there? John!
My other battery is dead. I might have to switch this to my webcam for a bit.
Kind of sounds like it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you not have a battery adapter for that thing?
I do. That's what's plugged into it.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's I guess it's draining faster than it's charging.
Huh.
Hang on,
Weird. No, I have a dummy battery pack that you can plug into the bottom of your camera, and you can power it off AC direct through the battery port.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's so it's
you have it on micro right now. Micro USB.
I have it on micro.
Gotcha.
So, wow, how somehow it got brighter. My camera is adjusting.
Yeah, actually, turn all your lights back on because now you're like at 10 FPS.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, your camera will. It's gonna suck, but just roll with it. What camera does John have, and how do we send him a dummy battery? Yeah, no, I'm gonna get John a dummy battery because I think I still have some. John has an. What do you have? An A6100, A6300? He's on an audio. Hold on, I'll get him back. So, I have never had this beer before. This is the Block 15 Love Potion number 9. I don't know that I like it. I mean, make no bones about it, I'm going to drink it. But I don't know that I'm really in love with this one. And I mean, like I don't know that I want to drink any of the other cans because I'm just not enjoying this one.
The Love Potion?
Love Potion, yeah. So I'm not digging it.
It's been a while. It came out. Love Potion came out, I think, 17 or 18, because I remember it being a brand new thing at the tap room, and Block 15 trying to like upsell it to me. Mm-hmm. And I think I ended up buying it, and it didn't do all that well.
It's kind of flirting that line between trying to. You know what it is? Instead of being a sweet, malty, rich, roasty stout, it's 100% dark chocolate and this hint of raspberry on the end. So it's like, you know when you go into like one of the C's candy shops or one of the fudge shops that are in the malls and whatnot?
Yeah.
And you get the orange chocolate sticks or the raspberry sticks or something like that. There's the milk chocolate one, and then there's the dark chocolate one. And you eat the milk chocolate one, and you're like, oh my God, it's like heaven and sweetness, like being kissed by an angel kind of thing. And then you try the dark chocolate one, and it's like dark chocolate bark that might have come in contact with raspberry at some point. That's what this beer is. This beer is the dark chocolate version of the milk chocolate version that I wanted.
That's it. Yeah, okay. So 17. I give it a 3.75.
That's way higher than I would give.
Well, it was also on draft.
On draft might be a little different, but I don't know if on draft would sway me enough to give it even a 3.0.
Yeah.
Like this is like a 2.75 to me. And remember, you grade a lot more generously than I do.
I
a lot more generously than I do.
I grade generously because I know the amount of work in general putting just a semi-decent beer.
So you grade on a curve, is what you're saying.
I grade on the fact that, look, this is a base beer. I'm glad they swung for it. It's a miracle they even got it this far.
John, here's my analysis for. So for those who don't know, we're talking about out of 5. So 5 being the perfect beer ever, which I have never given.
Never given one.
Never given one. I've given one 4.75.
I meant 1 or 2 is all I've given.
John gives 4.0s like they're going out of style.
Yeah, well, I used
4 is even reserved for like the top of the top crop for me.
I give 4s a bit more probably than I used to. Yeah. Or I'd say early on Untapped, like 3.75 was my average, and then I started giving everyone a bit more, like about the quarter. Yeah. Bump up just for the fact that, okay, this, I can see its place. I can see some people enjoying it. I may not. I see what I do. I don't take it as a curve. It's also I take it as, it's not maybe not my personal experience. Mm-hmm. I can see other people because I've seen other people say personally that this is a 4, and it just may not work for me. That's also one of the things I hate about.
Is they'll pick up like a barrel-aged stout rated a 1 because they didn't like the barrel-aged stouts, or I don't like dark beer.
Yeah, and so
well, then why are you drinking this one?
Exactly. Right. Why did you buy that? If you don't like stouts, why did you buy a stout and rate this stout? And there's a lot of ratings that are like that.
Yes.
So,
Steve and I are kind of in the same wavelength where I will read a beer description, and if that beer matches the description, you get an instant 3. And by instant 3, I mean you hit exactly what you were aiming for. Now, if you hit exactly what you're aiming for and it's still crap, my score goes down from there because bad flavor is a bad flavor. And then up from 3.0 is I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. Wow, that's really good. Even a wow, that's really good is still a 3.75 to me. Because 4.0 and up, I think needs to be exceptional. Needs to be like, and here's the scale that I'll give you. Okay, where do you rate a New Holland Dragon's Milk?
Oh,
just the base Dragon's Milk.
Probably 4.25.
4.25. Okay.
I think that's what I'd probably give it that. Yeah.
How do you get how do you get to the Chai Reserve?
The Chai even reserve. I think I probably only give that one 4, but I know what you're saying. Like something nicer.
Right. Like Dragon's Milk Stout is a 4.0 to me. It's really, really good. It's one of my favorite stouts.
And Chai.
But there are better versions of it, which means better rating.
But see, my thought is, okay though. Look. Let's see. Hang on. I'm looking up my rating. So Dragon's Milk by itself only gets a 4.06. Yeah. So I gave it a 4. I gave it a 3.75, and a 4. So right in there. High 9, low 4. But it is produced so much, and it is so consistently done and well done. It's a great beer for that, and you have to put it in that category. Mm-hmm. It's not. I can't rate it the same as.
How do you rate
Island?
How do you rate the Santiam Pirate Stout?
The regular one, I probably give that I think I gave that one a 4.25. I think I gave it a 4.25 when I first.
So what do you do with a 4-year-old Governor's Reserve?
Well,
where's the room to grow?
Those cans. Well, that's why you can become a premium member on Untapped and increase your increments by I think like 0.02.
Right, but that's kind of my point. Is the Pirate Stout is a wonderful stout, and I think it's a solid 4.0, maybe even a 4.25. But it ain't gonna get no 4.75 from me because the Governor's Reserve barrel-aged rum Pirate Stout exists, and it is by all accounts better in every regard. And so when I'm drinking,
but is it though? You can't always get the Governor's Reserve. You
can't.
always go get the Pirate Stout.
And the Pirate Stout's a good solid 4.0 beer.
And yeah, so a good 4. And that's probably what I would give it to. But because of that, right now it sits at a 3.94. So
more people agree with me. No.
I'm not saying. I think I gave it a because I have it checked in multiple times.
Oh yeah, I've rated that one a dozen times.
Yeah. So I think the last time I gave it a 3.75.
But but relating to the Block 15 Love Potion number 9.
In fact, actually, when I first checked it in, I gave it a 3.5.
Yep. Stout ale with chocolate and red raspberries, brewed and canned at Block 15 Brewing, Corvallis, Oregon. 7%. It's a good dark beer.
Yes, but they only make that once a year.
Right.
Sandy and Pirate
Stout. Should I give them more points because it's once a year?
No, you should give them less points because it's once a year. Because they only brew it once a year, so they know it's not a super popular beer. It's a seasonal beer. They have a longer time to perfect that thing, that beer. They could barrel age that beer. They don't. Sandy Am is constantly barrel aging and testing their beers just for the Pirate Stout, constantly just to have a season or year-round barrel-aged beer. Who has that?
Yeah, that's true. There are very few regular availability barrel-aged beers.
But at the same time, Dragon's Milk is that nationally.
Right. There's also Old Rasputin, which is a nationally available, always produced barrel-aged beer.
Old Rasputin is not. It's just a strong ale, but they do have the bigger ones.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. But and those are usually year-round too.
Yeah.
Yes, but again, look at the size of that brewery, the capacity.
Right.
So and the money backing them. So when I see if you saw a small company, a small tech company release some really good keyboard with a really good chassis, really good keys and a really cool design, but it probably costs them more versus some Asus keyboard. Which one is the better one? Now, and you might have paid $120 for the Asus, and you might have paid $100.
$100.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying a company that
looks down at the keyboard that I only swapped the switches out on.
But I think there are other variables. That's where you and Steve and I differ. I do take certain aspects, like if there's a prominent, unique flavor that is supposed to be in there and I don't taste it, I ding them for that.
Right.
If there is like cinnamon and it's like, okay, it's very subtle. I don't know how much cinnamon they put in there. It's a very common thing. There's enough flavors that should be prominent that, okay, it's not, but I still kind of taste it. Maybe they did it for artisanal purposes, and our views on what coconut should taste like versus what they were thinking it should taste like is completely different.
Well, here's what I'll say on this beer. Okay. Chocolate raspberry stout ale with chocolate and red and black raspberries. I taste chocolate. I taste raspberry.
So it should be a 3.
It's a 3
you're
right off the bat.
3 off the bat.
Is it a great flavor? I do like dark chocolate. I do like bitter flavors. Call me psychotic, whatever. I do like those flavors. I like black licorice, for crying out loud.
I love black licorice.
Love black licorice. Give me some absinthe any day of the week.
Yeah.
But I'm tasting this beer, and from the imagery and from the description and everything else, what I'm seeing here is like velvet cake and red raspberry filling and rich chocolate and sweetness and Valentine's Day, and that's what I'm getting.
Yes.
What I'm tasting is a bad dark chocolate raspberry stick from the mall. And so
So then
There's still gonna be some people who like this. The problem is the imagery, the description, and everything else is still slightly counter to the experience overall that I'm getting and the flavors overall that I expected.
Okay, so here's a thought then for you, or twist, because beer is one of those few beverages that comes in both. We do get to visually see the artwork, and a lot of times we don't get to, because if we go to a tap room,
right,
we don't get to. All we do see is
you see the name and what type of beer it is, which in this case it would say Love Potion number 9 Raspberry Stout.
That's exactly, and at that point,
or
you can
stout with raspberry. Rather.
Stout with raspberries, and at that point too, you could even order 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 16.
Yeah.
And most likely you're going to get it in, knowing you or I, 8 or 4 ounces. You know, like I want a little bit of that.
I do a lot of flights.
Yeah, exactly.
When I go out, I do flights.
If you saw, that's what if you saw that and saw that description and only had 4 ounces of it, what would then your opinion be?
If I had 4 ounces, but I had a chocolate raspberry stick sitting right next to it, and I ate the chocolate raspberry stick, maybe this is a 3.5. But it had to be a milk chocolate raspberry stick to balance the bitterness of the super dark chocolate that I'm getting out of this.
But
my problem is, this is trying to be a super rich beer, but I'll go with the same analysis that a lot of people try to bring to IPAs. It's drying my mouth out more than making it water more.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at this beer and I'm going, oh, super sweet dessert, dessert stout, kind of not like pastry stout, but like dessert stout.
Yeah.
And then I'm drinking it and I'm going,
yeah. Oh, I get it. I guess my point is, though, the different ratings. So how you perceive the beer, where you have it, how much you have of it can all vary.
Yeah.
And all of that can take a different toll on.
I'm only halfway through this beer. And
you're not wanting it.
I'm not wanting to finish it.
Well, look at that. You don't even have a head. So
the head burned off immediately.
I'm almost done with mine, and I at least have a little head.
I even so this is a 14-ounce glass. And so I poured like about 12 ounces into it, gave it a nice good head. The head died almost immediately. I then took the last, 4 ounces and like dumped it in and made a good show of it and whatnot. Built that head up right to the rim, and it went. Yeah. And so.
Yeah, that's
I can still smell raspberry. I can still smell the things that are supposed to be there.
That's probably lack of malt, and there's probably an oil in there from the fruit that is dissipating the head.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
So,
like putting, olive oil into a thing of boiling pasta to keep it from overflowing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
By the way, tech tip here on Craft Computing. Take a little teaspoon of olive oil, put it in your pasta when you're boiling spaghetti. Your pot won't overflow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Wouldn't that be?
Oh, and please finish your stir fry with sesame oil.
Oh, yes, that's great.
God, that's good. I had stir fry for lunch yesterday. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I made
with coconut rice.
Ooh,
yeah,
that nice long rice. I made some homemade teriyaki sauce and then homemade steak teriyaki skewers.
Yep,
that was delicious.
Yeah, no, so there's actually a local restaurant to us that makes some phenomenal teriyaki sauce, and you can buy it by the pint. And so we go down there and we get our sauce from them. But no, I made some stir fry yesterday for lunch. That was broccoli and carrots and cabbage and fresh peas out of our garden
the
and
good stuff.
And steak and like, oh, it was so good. So I stir fried all of that, got it like nice and steam hot. Then I added the coconut rice to it and then a little bit of teriyaki drizzle on top. Oh God, it was so good.
Know, it's so weird too. I love stir fry or a lot of Asian fresh, and then I really like it the next day too.
Oh God, yeah.
There's and it's like a completely different texture. Like the next day, it's more like a jambalaya.
Mhm.
But it's like, because all like if you have rice or noodle, everything's a little soggier. But I still want to like just shovel it in my mouth.
Yeah.
To where when it's fresh, I want to take my time with it. I'm going to enjoy it. And then the second day is, I remember those flavors. Shovel it in. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I make a pretty mean stir fry. I'm not gonna lie. So. All right. What else do we have to talk about?
We have one more thing.
Yes, actually two. Because I didn't talk about the Sea of Thieves. I skipped it to talk about the Nintendo Switch.
What? I didn't even see this one.
We do have a super chat. By the way, Andrew sent one a while back, but we beat him to the point, so I didn't read it. But Andrew, thank you. $5 donation. New Switch dock has a proper Ethernet port. Yes. John chimed in just before I was going to read that, so I didn't. But thank you. And Tripic sends over 10 Kiwi bucks, building a new office, and just had management ask me, do we really need to spend $65,000 to put in servers? Can't we just use the cloud? How's your day going? Better than that. Better than that, I will say. Ask me in a couple of weeks when I've re-enlisted myself in the MSP service, because I recently picked up a contract. So...
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Ask me in a couple of weeks when all of the memories of why I got out of that business flood back.
Did you charge them extra? You're like, I'm craft computing now. You know who I am. Tag all of the stuff you do with like craft computing tag.
I'm not going to say this on the air, but I have a really funny anecdote. So I'll say it in the after party.
If you want
join
to
the after party.
You got to join the after, which is on the Discord. It's an awesome channel. It's a minimum of $1. You can always do more, but it's a minimum of $1. The link is in the description below. There's literally everything. Like Jeff was saying earlier, there was like section 17, which has a lot of cool stuff. We have car stuff, trade stuff, space star photography stuff. It's really exploding, and the best part is every channel is extremely active. You ever go to one of those Discords to where they have just a bazillion channels, and you're like, I'm just going to hang out in one.
And no one talks in any of them?
No one talks in any of them. This one...
I'm a member of like 10 of those.
Yeah, everyone talks in these channels. Everyone responds. Everyone's super awesome. We probably have some of the best mods, too, that are ever out there. We have one rule, and that's don't be a butt.
Don't be a dork.
Don't be a dork. And you're going to get along with everyone. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has an opinion. And it's all welcome, but don't be a dork about it. And you're going to be welcome. We have food stuff, meme stuff, beer stuff, pop culture stuff, movies, music. It's all active all the time. It is super awesome. Literally, I will guarantee you right now, if you joined, you will probably get 3 to 4 highs from random people that are not mods or hosts. Just because that's how cool people are in the Discord. They want to say hi to you and want to get to know you. So, and there is the best part is the super secret after show live, where you get to talk with the other co-hosts and Jeff on the live channel, and we usually talk for another hour and a half or so. So, awesome
Good
stuff.
times. It's good times. And it helps me keep the lights on around here. So,
literally,
if you like the content you see on this channel, if you like talking heads, if you like me spending 2 weeks writing a 45-minute tutorial for the niche 0.1% of you who happen to have extra GPUs and server racks and want to run multiple VDI desktop instances off a single graphics card, that's my people. Those are my people. And so if you're into that kind of thing, if you like supporting that kind of thing and want to see that kind of home hobby grow, that's me. And so a dollar or two a month to you means I get to keep making content. So,
oh yeah. I guarantee that video is going to spike so high in the next couple months.
What's funny is it's 6 out of my last 10. And so it's not doing terrible as far as videos go, even like standard release videos go, but tutorials have long burns. And so you don't really get initial like huge spikes with tutorials. What you instead get is people going, oh, I'm going to bookmark this because in 3 weeks I'll have time to actually sit down and go through this. And then they'll watch it 2 or 3 times, which means like my early FreeNAS tutorials, later TrueNAS, those started with like 5,000 views in the first week or something like that. And then all of a sudden they've got 200,000 views on them. And it's like, when did that crack my top 20 for overall videos? But they did, because it wasn't this initial burst and then they're dead and then the algorithm hates them. It was, hey, how do I install FreeNAS? And you search that, and then I come up in the search results and they go, oh, that's a good tutorial. And they click on that. Yeah. So this will be the kind of thing of, how do I split up a graphics card inside of Proxmox? Yeah, I'm the tutorial.
You're the tutorial. Yeah. I think you're the first too.
Yes.
And so, yeah, no, it's going to be one of those, one guy does it and his friend is going to say, how'd you do that? They're going to be like, just here's the link to the video that I used. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're going to do. And so on.
I've already seen it being shared, which is freaking incredible.
Yeah. So it's going to be a big thing. I think, especially with the graphics cards coming down. Yeah. It's going to be a big major one.
Yes.
Even though it's long, it's going to be a good one.
Yes.
And long, actually, it can be really good, too, because you're going to get a lot of good revenue out of that. But
Hopefully.
All right. What are the... so we got Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Maybe visiting Monkey Island? Yay. That's the story. There's not much more to say. Is that Sea of Thieves maybe featuring Monkey's Island, specifically from the Pirate's Life scene from LeChuck's Revenge?
No, that's I love Monkey Island.
Yes.
I am a huge fan of that game.
Not the best series. LucasArts point-and-click adventure, but it's up there.
No, I think Monkey Island 3 is my favorite LucasArts point-and-click. That is my number one.
I said it's up there.
It's my number one. I think we talked about this before, and it was like we all had the same like 4 or 5.
Same top 4 or 5, just different order.
But it was just different orders, right. And that's all it really was.
Yes.
And
so, where do you have Full Throttle?
I think I have that at like number 3.
Oh, we can't be friends anymore.
It's like 2 or 3.
It's at least good for 2.
It's good. It is good. I think I balanced that out with Sam and Max.
Yeah, that's right. Sam and Max hit the road.
Yeah.
If you've got Monkey Island 1, I can take Sam and Max as 2.
And I think it was Monkey Island, Sam and Max, and Full Throttle. That's how it went for me.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept that.
And I think we just juggled between those 3. It was something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Grim Fandango is number 4.
Grim Fandango's in there. You got the Dig sitting on the outside looking in.
Number 5,
like it's like so good, but it's like it's just not as good as the others.
Well, Dig was really hard and complex, and there was no humor to it.
Yeah.
But it was really good puzzles. And then if I want to go even further back, Indiana Jones. I think that was like the 888, 89, is a really good one as well. It was one of their first adaptions of point and click.
Oh gosh, what was that one? Dashboard, new member. Thank you, Dashboard.
There we go. Everyone go say hi. Don't make me feel like I was an idiot for saying that.
Appreciate it. Thank you for jumping on. Yeah, no, what were the... Oh, City of Atlantis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right. There were a couple of different point-and-click Indiana Jones adventures. The one I remember is City of Atlantis. I think there was one more. But yeah, man, it's hard to go wrong with the top 3. It really is.
I think any...
Even though I fault you for not putting Full Throttle as number 1, because holy crap, Full Throttle is great.
Well, see, like,
but so is Monkey Island, and so is Sam and Max Hit the Road.
Yeah, and
Fate of Atlantis. Thank you. Yeah.
and yeah, I think you're fine in any order of those three.
Yeah.
Those three are easily, they can all be technically tied if you really want to. Now, see, I think Full Throttle had the benefit of being a little bit older, had a really good soundtrack.
Oh,
I think they really
the soundtrack
developed
is so good.
and they really developed more adult humor. It was just good humor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they tried pushing, it was like, okay, here's some humor with Monkey Island. They really pushed it with Sam and Max at the time.
You click on talk and then you go to like the dumpster and he goes, I'm not putting my lips on that.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. I think Sam and Max was like the Beavis and Butthead at the time.
Yeah.
And then they put in Full Throttle.
Gosh, that might even predate Beavis and Butthead. Pretty sure Sam and Max Hit the Road predates Beavis and Butthead.
Let's see.
Because Beavis and Butthead was like 95, 96. I want to say Sam and Max Hit the Road was 92.
93.
93.
Okay.
And what's Beavis and Butthead? I want to say 95.
I'll scroll down. 93. March 93.
Wow. Earlier than I thought.
And
okay.
it just says 93 for Sam and Max.
Okay.
So really the same time.
Same year.
Same year.
Color me surprised.
Yeah, MS-DOS 93, Mac OS 95. Does not give a month. November. So Beavis and Butthead predates.
Interesting.
Not by much, but you know, obviously wasn't.
Is there anything better than the intro scene for Sam and Max Hit the Road, though? The Max decapitating the dude, and it ends up being a bomb that he throws out the window and blows up a bus with later on.
Oh no, it's great.
They leave the damsel in distress tied up after driving their cop car through a brick wall. So great.
Man, I love Sam and Max.
Yes.
The sequels, what was it?
The Telltale games.
The Telltale ones.
I never played any of those. I couldn't bring myself to do it because I knew they wouldn't be as good.
They were good. They were good, but they weren't as good. It was a nice revisit. It's a good homage to Sam and Max, but it's not as good.
Okay, that makes me feel better. By the way, John Jay, thank you. John Jay is also a new member, even though he's also a member of the Patreon.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I've talked to John Jay before.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think you can't go wrong. Any order of those three, you're fine.
Yeah. I still judge you, but at least you have those top three.
It's like, okay, I judge you. I respect your decision, but you're not as good as me.
I'm not even going to go that far. Like,
you have taste.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not as good as mine.
Mm-hmm.
My palate is more refined.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And we do have one
Star Trek.
Of course, right? We always have to end with something like that. And it's getting. Side note is, well, I think in less than a month we get Lower Decks.
Oh yes, that's right.
I think in like 3 weeks, Lower Decks.
Yeah, like
starts.
August 2nd, 3rd, something like that.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. And I think there's supposed
Boimler
to have
comes back on the Titan. Woo!
Yeah, I know. So we're gonna have at least another Riker scene.
Heck yeah!
So if not
give me a
more
warp in a 5, 6, 7, 8.
God, that was great.
Troy going, we're going to talk about this later. Where do you think I get all that Romulan ale from?
Ah, God, that's a great show. I got to go rewatch it because it's been already a year.
I know. God, don't tell me that.
I know, right? It's man, time flies by.
I know.
And honestly, it really feels like you started this show like last year.
Yeah, we're coming up on 200.
Yeah, I know. It
Right?
really feels like Talking Heads was like a year and a half ago.
I know. Like 191 weeks.
God.
Right? And you've been on half of them.
uh,
Right? Like, what are you doing with your life, John?
Yeah, I know. Any new members, go check out like early episodes of Talking Heads. See how bad those were.
You know what? They had their moments.
They did have their moments.
They
There were
had
some
their
fun
moments.
times. You can definitely see some rough interactions between everyone and the transitions and everything like that.
We were feeling our way through it. We got there, though. I think we totally got there. We've kind of got we've got our style down. We've got our rhythm, and I think overall this is a good show. It's not the best show. I think we could do better, but it's a good show.
It's a good show. I think the community that is here thoroughly enjoys what we give them. And what I really like is...
And if you don't, shut up.
Yeah. Don't say anything. Just keep paying that Patreon.
Yeah, just keep subscribing. That's cool. All right. We do have some Star Trek news to get to, and that is the often rumored but little heard from Captain Worf. So there has been a lot of talk from Michael Dorn's camp about wanting to do a Captain Worf series. And I guess Marina Sirtis, otherwise known as Deanna Troi, has now thrown her name behind it, saying, I want to see this made. Now, Worf has the record for most episodes of Star Trek ever appeared in because of his 7 seasons on TNG and 3 seasons of DS9, as well as the 4 TNG movies.
Yeah.
So Worf is the most seen person and character on Star Trek in all of history. Who better to make a brand new series about than a Captain Worf?
Oh, I just now thought of something why they won't do this.
Because it's not Cisco?
No.
Give Worf the Defiant and let him just roll.
No. I know why they won't do it.
Because Captain Wesley has to come first?
All because of Discovery. They changed the makeup. That's why.
You know, you're kind of right. We haven't seen a single Klingon in Picard.
Yep. And that's why we won't see Worf.
But you know what? They don't discuss that with outsiders, John.
That is true. They in season 2 or 3, they did try to lean more back to the classic and kind of said what we saw in season 1 of Discovery were the rebels of the Klingon Empire, and they started getting their hair and mane backs and more rigid. But they still had those long, weird fingers and spoke with weird accents and still had glitter on their faces. But God, those were horrible. Whose decision was that? That was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I would love to see a Captain Worf. You know what? I think the best we're going to get is just an off-put comment in Picard. What's Worf doing? Oh, he's off he's too far away.
Kind of like we got from, what was that, episode 2? From not Terran, but the other Romulan, the male Romulan, about what about your old crew? What about LaForge, Worf, Geordi? And he's like, oh, I couldn't trouble them with.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to be
like,
something.
Come on.
It's going to be something like, oh, Worf's on a mission right now. He's captaining, or he has this fleet out somewhere. So we know
canon is Captain LaForge.
Yes. No, we don't, because that was time travel.
It was time travel, but we know time moves in a straight line unless it's otherwise deflected. And even if it's deflected, will find its own course back to the river it's supposed to belong to. And so Captain LaForge has no resistance to it.
Then that would put the whole spin on the last episode of TNG, because that was in the future, because Q time traveled them to the future.
Right.
So what type of future are we talking about? Because apparently when Q travels everyone to the future, it can be a completely timeline, completely alternate universe. Because
that's because Q
no...
has the infinite powers of a god and is omnipotent and knows all that has been and all that will be.
So
but time is also linear, and so is the Captain LaForge that we saw in the future, not canon version of Star Trek Voyager, where Chakotay and Kim tried to communicate with themselves backwards in time, where Harry Kim receives a message from Harry Kim.
It's still Ensign Kim at that time too.
I just said Harry Kim.
Yeah, I know, but we have to get... He was still an ensign.
It's because he was disbarred from service for his ineptitude in creating a transwarp tunnel and killing the entire crew of Star Trek Voyager, or of the Starship Voyager, right?
Yes.
Right. Like, yes, but so, also,
but then because of that,
but here's the deal: did Harry Kim and Chakotay traveling forward in the future, or living out the rest of their lives? Because remember, they made it back, and the rest of the Voyager crew did not. Hold on.
Okay. I can already disprove your theory, though.
Hold on. Okay. Did them making it back and the Voyager crew not alter the timeline of Geordi LaForge becoming a captain? Did anything?
It could have, because we don't know what the rest of the crew of Voyager did when they got back, because any of them... Geordi could have talked to B'Elanna because they were both engineers, and maybe something happened there because Barclay was friends with both of them, but both crews. So they do have a connection. Something could theoretically...
Wouldn't Lieutenant Broccoli be the perfect chief engineer on LaForge's ship?
Oh, no, he would not be. He would not have done that. Well, we know if we're...
I want to see Captain LaForge and Commander B'Elanna Torres.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
If anything, it's going to be... Here's what Engineer Broccoli will be, is in the new Nickelodeon one. What's the...
Yeah.
The new where they're talking about like the young...
Yeah, the cartoon one.
The cartoon one, where Catherine Janeway is supposed to be a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
If he programmed her hologram, that's probably going to be a reference. Something like... I could see that happening. Like he programmed because he had an obsession with Voyager. But anyways, here is a disproof, though.
Why would LaForge not be a captain?
What would be the time? Okay, maybe, but I'm going to throw a little bit of a monkey wrench. Do you remember the star date? Because I don't. Of them versus the
crux
timeline.
Of your argument is based on my memory. That's a bad place to start.
What I'm saying is we can look this up, but that star date versus the star date of, say, Picard, and we look at the uniforms they're wearing.
Geordi as a captain would predate Star Trek Picard, because Geordi as a captain would only be about 6 to 8 years in the future, whereas Star Trek Picard is 20 plus years in the future.
Well, we don't know what he did after Voyager got home, though. Maybe
right,
he wanted.
But does Voyager coming home define Geordi's career?
It might change it because they had that new armor plating, and the transwarp technology, and he might wanted to take a look at it.
Right, but would that stop him from becoming a Starfleet captain, or would that simply pique his interest in commanding the new ship instead of the old ship?
He might have been like, I want to develop this, and I want to be the one to help do this. I don't know. Or maybe he's like, I'm going to go be the host of Jeopardy. Who knows?
Yeah. By the way, July 28th, please tune into LeVar Burton hosting Jeopardy, because if any one person on this planet deserves to take over for Alex Trebek, it is LeVar Burton.
Oh yeah, who doesn't want Reading Rainbow being the host of Jeopardy?
Who doesn't want the man who taught all of you how to read to be the man who quizzes you about random facts 25, 30 years later?
I even read an article like
holy
it's one of
crap.
the most anticipated hosts, and they're like, people are shocked. They're like, who is LeVar Ball? It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
This guy's amazing. He's the only, literally, his fans forced him on there. There was a petition. It was the largest petition to get him on there.
Meanwhile, NBC, or is it CBS that has?
I thought it was ABC.
No, it's not ABC. It's either CBS or NBC. I think it's CBS. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure it's CBS. They're like, in the meantime, Joe Buck, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is like the third runner up.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Which is like what? Although my only reason I know that is because my wife's a
The
huge
last
Green Bay
thing
fan.
that I want to hear is Joe Buck on Jeopardy.
Well, they had what's her face? One of the stars from like The Big Bang Theory. They're like, what are you doing? You're an actress. What are you doing?
They've had a bunch of people on there, and there's always a difference between someone just reading a script that they're given and someone having getting genuine inspiration and invigoration from the idea of learning.
Yeah, and you also have to have a charisma. You have to be used to being in front of the camera and talking.
Right. And while I'm just going to throw this out there, while Joe Buck is used to being in front of the camera, he's also used to pandering in front of a camera, whereas LeVar Burton genuinely enjoys learning.
Yeah, well, you have multiple things. You have a guy that was able to do script acting.
And I keep wanting to make inappropriate jokes on account of Joe Buck, and I have censored myself to this point.
Oh, we're past 10.
Something Joe Buck and Aaron Rodgers.
Not a Green Bay fan, are you? Wife's a huge Green Bay fan, so.
Brett Favre is the greatest player in the world. They could cut off both Brett Favre's arms and both his legs. He'd still be the best torso in football.
I mean, there was one game he came back with like a broken rib and it was like 22 points down and after halftime and won the game.
I know. There's also been like not a face mask and he gets an extra shot and.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, same can be said for Brady. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying either of them are not super talented. I mean,
I'm not saying Joe Buck is not a talented sportscaster. What I'm saying is I don't want to see Joe Buck hosting Jeopardy.
Yes.
What I'm saying is if any one person deserves to host Jeopardy, it's freaking LeVar Burton.
I'm betting it's going. What was like the number one guy who won Jeopardy the most? It's probably
Jennings.
Yeah, it's going to be up to him, and I bet Burton.
Yeah,
I bet that's going to be the two.
Yeah, Ken Jennings and LeVar Burton.
And I bet they're going to give it to Ken Jennings. That's just my bet because it'll just be like, oh, that's why we gave it to him because he was the number one, and you know. And so if you're the number one contestant in Jeopardy, you too could someday be the host. You know, if you win enough here and steal enough of our money,
but that's
you
still
can host
crap.
it.
I know Ken Jennings has clout, but so does LeVar Burton, and LeVar Burton's got 30 plus years of clout.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, but the thing is though, you have the people. It's the problem is he has 30 plus years of clout, but it's older clout, and you don't have anything modern to where the other guy has technically Jeopardy fans. He has something to stand on. He's a familiar face.
But think about the people that they're trying to get into Jeopardy now are the people that are like you're in my age, or even better, Steve's age.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
the boomers are dead. Long live the 80s. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, even LeVar Burton was more in the late 80s, early 90s. You know,
right?
Was the real peak of the Reading Rainbow. I mean, because he was Reading Rainbow before Star Trek, wasn't he?
Simultaneously.
Was he? Okay.
Yes. I want to say Reading Rainbow 84, Star Trek 85. Like it was back to back, one way or the other. But you also remember that he
83.
Okay, yeah.
83. So
see, 85 TNG,
So
83 Reading
two
Rainbow.
years, yeah.
What was it? 81 or 79 Roots.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but yeah, so 83 to 99.
Yeah.
21 seasons.
Yeah. 21 seasons across 16 years.
Yeah.
If there's anyone more qualified than LeVar Burton,
Yeah.
I want to know. And don't tell me Brent Spiner, because I've seen him on television.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no. I most of the co-hosts were just pure, we need to bump ratings and we're drawing a crowd. You know, that's like Celebrity Big Brother or blah, you know, something celebrity this, something celebrity that reality TV show. And
what's Richard doing from Survivor these days, I wonder?
Yeah, you know, whatever. He was the third runner-up on the cooking show from 7 seasons ago.
One Big Brother 7, here it is.
Yeah, you know, like who cares? You know, the cast of the sound guy from the cast of Beverly Hills. Yeah.
So who was that? Novella Hub. It is hard to believe that LeVar Burton is 64 years old now. This will throw your mind for a loop. Will Wheaton is older than Jean-Luc Picard was on TV in 1985 when he debuted.
Oh my! Well, man, I don't know if that's a dig on.
It's a little bit of both.
Sir Patrick Stewart or
right.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton's almost 50.
Speaking of Will Wheaton, a little bit of beer news. The new Woo Stout actually.
Woo Stout, yes.
Woo Stout's coming, and first time going to be in a 6-pack of 12 ounces.
Oh.
So you'll be able to buy it in nice 12-ounce bottles. I think that's a first.
instead of 4 16s, you'll be able to do 6 12s.
Yeah,
I like that.
So
I like that decision for what is usually
new,
a heavy stout.
Yeah. And if you don't know what the Woo Stout is, then it is a Will Wheaton and Stone Brewing collaboration. It's usually a pecan bourbon barrel, half bourbon barrel aged. They do it for like 6 months or something. Or no, I think they blend it. So like half the batch is
what they do is they age half of it in bourbon or in bourbon barrels with pecan for 6 months. Yeah. And then they do a collaboration with someone else and they blend those together.
Yeah.
And so the collaboration may be barrel aged, it may not be, but at least the Stone collaboration piece of it is bourbon barrel aged with pecan.
So that's coming out. I think it's going to be available really soon, but I've never seen that. But
yeah, that's usually August 1st is when that releases.
Something like that. Yeah, we don't usually talk beer release because it's just that's not really.
It's
news.
Another beer, right?
It's just another beer, but just for Will Wheaton's sake, and it's been around forever.
But this is Woot Stout.
But this is Woot Stout,
right? Woot Stout.
Woot Stout,
right? I gotta get Will Wheaton on the show eventually. if I had a Talking Heads goal, it is to get Will Wheaton on my show.
Oh, you know I'd jump in on that.
I know. No, I need to get Will Wheaton as a guest.
And at the end, shut up, Wesley. Bye. See you guys later. Never again.
Yes. And I have to say this one time, shut up, Wesley. And that's all we have for episode 227 of Talking Heads. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
Perfect.
I need Will Wheaton on the show. Now it's official. I have to have him.
If you know him.
Yeah.
I know he likes beer, so maybe he'll even come on my show.
There you go.
There we go. Or I'll just like head over there and like force him to be like.
I could probably tweet at his wife because he's not on Twitter. He doesn't have a lot of social media because everyone wants to tweet at him. But something tells me that I might be able to get the attention of his wife, who I do follow on Twitter, and Wheaton. And like, I want Will to be on a podcast of mine, which has a Star Trek theme and we drink craft beer. Like, is that not a podcast that he would join?
Oh yeah, I know. So, especially if we did, you know what would be, well, we probably couldn't do it before Picard. Man, how awesome could we do it during like Picard season 2 where we talk,
hell, if I could get him on for a spoiler cast, holy shit.
Oh God. Now that would be awesome.
Oh.
That's the ultimate one right there.
I usually am able to keep my fanboy down. I don't know if I could.
No, we'd be busting out. You'd probably be busting out all your props, and then
I have all your action figures.
Yeah, and then somehow like we'd get into another argument of how DS9 is better than TNG, and then that's how I'll become Will's best friend. Is like, no, TNG is way better, and then he'll come on my show because of that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll get a guest appearance by Will Wheaton on Pops and Brews.
Just because of that, because it's like, oh yeah, TNG is the best.
Yeah.
Will, you inspired me to. I'll fake it. I'll just be like, yeah, you inspired me to drink beer.
People need to start tweeting out. Will Wheaton needs to be on Talking Heads.
Yes,
I want that to trend.
Make that a hashtag.
Yes. Check out my batleth. You know I got one. Check out my Doc Tog. It's how I do all my unboxings.
There you go.
Anyway,
1020.
It is time to call this one. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 191 here on Talking Heads. It has been a heck of a good time. If you like this channel and want to support it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like the beer content that we have on this channel. And if you want to join the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party and help keep the lights on around here, think about joining the Patreon or Float Plane. Links are both down in the video description. For $1 a month, you can get exclusive access to my Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and keep the conversation going all week long. This has been an awesome show. Thank you so much for watching. Pick us up on the podcast on Anchor.fm if you haven't done so already. And as always, we will see you next Wednesday night here at 8 p.m. Pacific time on Craft Computing for the latest in beer and tech news.
See you guys.